Hello everyone, and welcome back to my Race into Space RP-0 playthrough. So yesterday I was out and also was like half a year ahead of literally everyone else. So I decided to stream just the tech tree testing yesterday. But today I'm not quite so far ahead anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and make an episode of this. We shall see. We shall see. So coming up is this booster development flight of our Hydrolox stuff. It's 2 days to go. Let's hope we don't have any failures. Now, let's really hope we don't have any failures. Oh, and I didn't actually, well, yeah, I didn't change the tech flight stuff about when, how much data you get from a failure. So even if we get a failure, it's not going to do a whole lot. But if I did make that change, it'd probably be in the dev branch of RP-0 anyway. Let's go. Now we'll roll it out. And it takes quite a while. But we have a large enough build rate that we're good. All right, and I am going to waste a little bit of time. So you know what? Also, we're going to duplicate that just in case. Right, dawn launch. Very well. Let's see how this goes. Okay. Well, that's a stocky little rocket. But that's kind of what I get for having this large diameter core. It's a 15-foot core, isn't it? I think it is. And then this 15-foot upper. And then a Calico. But everybody knows it's Centaur. So Saturn Fury asks for a quick update on what everything is. So Dalmatian is our new heavy launch vehicle. It has two E1 engines. It has a second stage with an LR87 LH2. It has now it's in the Calico configuration where it has a upper stage here that's basically a Centaur D, possibly Centaur E, I forget. I think Centaur E. And we're also using it with a KerbalHacks upper stage, our traditional good old upper stage, and an Agena, sorry, a Bengal. I do that every time, to launch a Mark I pod, the Eagle Block 4, around them on a circumlunar flight. So in the last episode, we succeeded. So we had an E1 early cutoff for Eagle 5, so we had to abort that. Eagle 5 was uncrewed. Then we flew Eagle 6 uncrewed successfully on a circumlunar flight. Now we're testing the Dalmatian Calico configuration with this Hydrolox second stage, which will be just enough to push like 5.5 tons TLI to do our lunar sample return, which is Selene 9, or 8. And then I think 9 is the backup. So let's try to estimate what our pitch program is going to look like. Makes sense. Yeah. I think 140 is about right for this, because we only have a... Well, oh no, it's only 39. Let's try 150. We'll see. We'll also figure out what pitch program to use on this. I'm gonna guess that I'll end up back at 140 again, but we'll see how this goes. Cross your fingers, everyone. This is by far the heaviest rocket we've ever launched. Well, actually, sorry, that's totally wrong. With these Hydrolox upper stages, it's not actually the heaviest rocket we've ever launched. It's about the same as what we launched before, and it's not that much heavier than the good old Bluedog with the 4 LR-79s. But it is certainly by far the most capable rocket we've ever launched. Pitch program. This is indeed 11 January 1954. Circumlunar I would have done before if not for that failure on the first unmanned flight. I would have done at the end of year 3. The current mission is we're testing this booster to make sure it works okay. It's the first flight for all these Hydrolox engines. They've been fully R&D'd. But full R&D doesn't mean a whole lot. Which means there have been, like, off-screen booster development flights for a while. This actually looks remarkably like a Saturn V, I just realized. Except for the bottom isn't flared. And it's effectively 1/10 of a Saturn V, when you think about it. In terms of liftoff thrust, the upper stages are a bit more than 1/10, but in terms of liftoff thrust, it's about 1/10. Off-screen in that I used test flights R&D process, not off-screen as in I flew missions while people weren't watching. All right, so RCS to on. And light of the LR-87 LH2. And we have hydrazine RCS for roll control. So let's pitch up to match. I'm going to drop the fairings shortly. All right, we have 2 pascals of dynamic pressure, and we're right on the Kármán line. How nice. Fairing step. As you can see, it's just a big old tank of lead ballast. Uh, 150 was not high enough. Let's pitch up even more. I mean, our gravity losses will be lower than they otherwise would be from doing this, but our steering losses will be higher. Hey everybody who just hopped in. If you previously missed it, we are flying a booster development mission for the Dalmatian Calico launcher, which was 2 E1s on the first stage, an LR-87 on the second stage, and 2 RL-10s up here in basically a Centaur E. And this only burns for 4 minutes. We maybe could have gone to 4.5 minutes with a slight lower stage shrink, but I think we're now we can pitch down a fair amount, I think. Getting some nice data from this, and it's really quite reliable, all things considered. Nowhere near as reliable as these things. Happily, the RL-10s are rather more reliable than this, but this needs to be sufficiently reliable too. Okay, let's pitch down some more. Keeping broadly on the prograde indicator. Oops. Whoa! Wrong way. All right, let's level out and prepare to ignite the Calico. As you doubtless recall, my boosters are dogs and my uppers are cats. Okay. There's that. How short are we of orbit? About 1,800 meters per second? No, 1,600. If that, maybe 1,500. So, oh, those RL-10s are so pretty. I think we went a little high, but that's okay. So it turns out I was right with 140 after all, in the end, and not pitching up quite so far above prograde on the second stage. Oh yeah, let's put RCS to off for now, because it's done its job of ullaging us. We still have plenty of hydrazine. kilometer per second to go. Pitch up a little bit more. Just from the basic MTBF of that second stage, we'd expect about a 1 in 25 chance of failure. That's really simplifying the statistics greatly, but I think we're go for launching that lunar mission. Let's pitch up and kill our vertical velocity. 450 to go, maybe even 400. Yeah, so we over-provisioned on LH2 because I knew there would be a fair amount of boil-off. In real life, the Centaur had insulation on it during ascent, but that's not really modeled. As much. All right, that's a fairly circular orbit, and we still have 3524 for a notional translunar injection. So let's look at what it's like after a go-around. Which electric charge does it have? A fair amount of electric charge. 3524. Let's see what the delta V is like there. We did not sufficiently over-provision LH2. That is interesting. That is always interesting to know. Also, it doesn't have... All right, because there's two avionics units here, and it drained one but didn't drain the other. So also, we'll probably want to add some batteries to have coast time. Or we might support avionics shutdown on the Centaur avionics. Why is SAS doing literally nothing? That confuses me. It's like sometimes SAS does things and sometimes it doesn't these days. I really don't understand it. We're just going to burn this dry, just to have a good sense of things. We should come down over the Atlantic though. This is over the continental United States, and that would be bad. All right. Okay, let's go to about here, and then we'll do our burn. Now we're safely out over the Atlantic. So pretty. Now the grand irony is, had I not been a skierd, and had I just flown that mission, we would not have had these failures, assuming the RNG had cooperated. And we could have saved, you know, what, like $30+ million. But I didn't want to risk a failure. All right, we have spare liquid hydrogen. That's interesting. I guess I don't understand why those numbers were like that. So anyway, we now have a passel of data. Okay, let us examine our data. We gained quite a lot of data. All right, let us return to the Space Center. Let that crash into the mid-Atlantic. It's funny, I think of that as the South Atlantic, but it's actually the south of the North Atlantic. So I think I'm going to go ahead and bank on. Oh, I was wrong. It was Selene 9. It's Selene 10. I think I'm going to go ahead and bank on Selene 9 actually working. Hopefully this is not a stupid decision. What do we have coming next on tech? Miniaturization in 30 days. This comes due in 25 days. So So the pad gets reconditioned. Well, let's see how this sample return mission goes. Roll out. It's going to be another night launch. Because we're in January. Or what are we? I guess we're now in the start of February. I forget. I missed the line. Let us see. All right. Launch into plane of target, 12 hours, as expected. Pumps are on. We're good. What? Sorry. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Engine start. Oops, I miscounted. Wait a little bit. Now we lift off. Okay. I think we'll accept this relative inclination because we want a non-equatorial orbit of the moon anyway. Bill, it's not the default. They default to off, actually. Yeah, we can make it the default. I forget why I thought they shouldn't, but I had some reason. What is our launch configuration anyway? It's going to be... It's a night coast. We're going to coast to here, I think. So it'll be a day trans-lunar injection. Right about here. Oh, speaking of MFT, Bill and Blowfish, since you're both here, what would you think about an option in MFT to have a limited number of tanks inside a part? Where you can say, like, in max tanks equals 2, and then you could only ever add 2 or fewer tanks to that part. I know Saab wanted it for the semi-procedural tank. Somebody PM'd me recently on the forums asking about how to do it right now, and I said you can't without code changes. And I think it should be fairly trivial. You just check the number of tanks that are currently there, and if it's greater than or equal to that number, it'll gray out the buttons. Seemed fairly doable, but I wanted to touch base with you guys on what you thought about doing something like that. Whether that made sense. I mean, I can do it. I'm not saying you should do it. If you do it, that would be awesome, but I'm not, like, making an ask. I'm just asking what you think about it. Yeah, I guess we can just change the button text to something like XXXX if there's a limit, and then have an extra line at the top under the cost and mass that says if there is a limit to say that. The other issue is autofill. It has to not provide autofill options if that would go over the tank limit. Yeah, or we could just not show the buttons at all. I mean, we can just say, I'm not sure whether it makes sense to show but have them grayed out, or to just not show the buttons at all. I don't know. Oh, I know autofill well. I can deal with autofill. That's fine. Okay, keeping nailed on prograde. And RCS to on, separation event. Ignition. Oh geez, that scared me, how slow it was to ignite. So the paw buttons are only ever created by us anyway, so we can just not create them in that case. Why is our relative inclination so stupid? That's weird. Let's fix this. Close enough. All right, fairing sep. Oh, Bill, yeah, the part action window buttons can't be there and disabled. We would have to just remove them. You're absolutely right. Well, I mean, we technically could have them there and have them not do anything, but that would be less intuitive to the user than removing them. Yes, it does use the old UI system. All right, this is an acceptable launch trajectory. Hey, Ferrum. Hey, Caridian. Okay, I'm going to try to fly prograde until apogee, and then pitch up, because we'll get quite close. Pretty. Oh, an actual ascent to autopilot cannot come too soon. Okay. RCS to off. Let's pitch up. Sound and Fury, does it actually fly it for you, or does it just give you a steer and you have to fly it yourself? I don't remember ever actually using it that way, because in Go for Launch we just used the boost kick. Pitch up a little more. I mean, it's literally the important half of powered explicit guidance. Sound and Fury, is it single stage only, or does it take the following stages into account if you fly that trajectory? Close enough. Saturn and Fury, right, gotcha. Although, yeah, I think that's not, that may not, well, it's a great question whether that's strictly optimal to fly a given flight path across all stages, or whether it's better to fly a different trajectory on different stages. Anyway, we've inserted the moon is, we're relative inclination 0.26, that's fine. Let's plop up these, create node. Now, that's a wee bit too much. Oh, that's probably going to be about right. 390. Well, let's try this. 137. Yeah, I think that'll be about right. It's in 38 minutes, which is a little less than half an orbit. So TLI is going to be a little bit later than when I thought it was going to be. But we're flying a slow mission, a slow transit, low delta V transit, so that we have a cheap insertion. Sound of Fury, sorry, yeah, I mean pitch angle. $32.36 left. All right, so this mission was to spec. It was just right. All right. So we execute the node. Oh, shoot. Forgot that part. All right, so we're getting some boil off, but it's not horrific. Oh, I probably should have put some struts here, shouldn't I? This should have cost way more than $18 million because of all this customs crap. All right, let's. Oh, it's very stable because of the boil off, so it's fine. But we're still going to ullage just a little bit. Okay, we had a good light. Bill, the point of boil off is that it's actually venting the gases aft, which provides a little bit of ullage. It's not using it for further pressurization. It's already at the pressure level it should be, so it has to vent them some. So it vents them out the back, that pushes us forward infinitesimally, and that keeps things settled. Yeah, pressure alone is not going to keep things settled. So there are stages that just vent it basically sideways and perform an actual ullage maneuver. Or I think for aces, they're trapping it and then burning it with something to actually like reburn it. Or, sorry, to at least burn it some and not just vent it and get a higher specific impulse out of that. Pressure. These tanks are pressurized. All tanks are pressurized. These are pressurized at probably about 2 atmospheres. Highly pressurized tanks are more like, 100 to 200 atmospheres. How pressurized a tank is orthogonal to whether you need ullage or not. Whether you need ullage or not is due to whether there's a bladder inside to keep the pressure separated from the liquids, or you have a surface tension system where there's like a mesh grid at the bottom. Like I think some orbiter we sent to Mars pioneered that. Viking, maybe? I don't know. Orbiter lander. Getting near the end of the burn. Yeah, it's. I was tragically confused. Ferrum is right that it does often trigger a rant, mostly because I have the zeal of the converted. Because I at first thought that a highly pressurized tank meant you didn't have to worry about ullage, and that was hilariously wrong. As you can easily demonstrate, yeah, it's bubbles of pressurant that get in the feed lines that cause the engine to cough and splutter and die, or explode. Exploding is also good. You can easily prove this by if you take an aerosol can, say aerosol can of paint. If you hold it one way up, you mostly get paint. If you hold it the other way up, you mostly get pressurant. It's pretty pressurized, but that doesn't change the fact that gravity will have its way, or microgravity will have its way, as the case may be. This is the heat shield. I was asked where the heat shield is. That's the heat shield. All right, let's check our trajectory. We went a little too far. So let's correct a little bit with RCS. All right, 70 by 70 should be okay for one orbit. So, well, that stage has served us well. So let's flip, and we'll send it into the moon. Whoops, that was enough to change our periselene. Well, okay. Yeah, imagine if this up here had been 5 tons. Imagine how big the launch vehicle would have been then. This is all of like 100 kilograms. Direct descent is expensive. Why are we... Why is it taking so long to flip? I don't know. Okay, why is SAS not working? I have no idea why SAS... Oh, I guess it was finally working, but whatever. So let's... Oops, wrong one. Okay, 63. That's fine. Now... Okay. We're going to wake it up. Now let's shift to this and push it into the moon. Okay, we are well on our way. Now, let's extend the antenna before I forget to do that again and ruin another mission. Sound and Fury, to be fair, also when all you have is a hammer, everything begins to look like an X-term. All right. So let's go to the moon. Okay, what's our electricity usage? Not that horrible. We have plenty of electric charge. Really, this would have been a much lighter mission if I had bothered to use Proc Avionics, but I didn't want to spend to unlock all the stuff because I'd already unlocked the other stuff. Let's go ahead and warp until we're reasonably close to the moon. Yeah, that's super slow. Oh geez, I hope that wasn't stuff I should have actually kept. Yeah, we still have a ton of electric charge, so we're fine. Okay, we're coming in prograde. Let's go ahead and just land in... Oh, no, it's cheaper if we go around once. We want to circularize at perigee, periselene. 785, good, that's fine. Let's align, whoops. The antenna is set properly. Yes, there was a second right before we started warping where I was like, oh crap, the antenna. We could have gone for an even lower orbit and gotten even more of an over-Earth boost, but this is acceptable. I deem this acceptable. Okay. In we come. There's big old moon. And this doesn't even require ullage. So let's go. Saturn Fury, yes, I know that. I mean, it is a GUI. It's a GUI that warms the cockles of my heart. That's sort of floating in nothingness. I should have offset it upwards a little bit. Oh yeah, that is an ST2 solar panel. So we might be able to... Awesome, we've inserted. We might be able to stay powered long enough. Okay. Now, we have plenty of delta V to land. I just have to not stuff this up, basically. Shouldn't be that hard, right? What I'd really like to do is land on the Midlands, because we've already landed on the lunar seas. Let's see what our orbit passes over. Lowlands. There was one speck of Midlands in there, but I assume it's an error in the map from aliasing. So there's Midlands over there, but that's really kind of on the border of being able to see anything. Oh, there's Highlands back there. All right, we're going to actually make two orbits, because we're going to make one orbit to figure out where to land. That's on the dark side. And I don't want to land there. Let me at least pull this up so we know where we're going to land. I'm not going to use the landing guidance, probably, because if memory serves, the last time I tried it, I was dead. But, ooh, major craters. That's cool. Hopefully we get some more of them, but like not on the dark side, because I don't want to land in the dark. I mean, not that it really matters. I land by instrument alone, but whatever. So this is all Midlands. So we could land right there. But we're probably not going to, because I would like to land in the light, as I have said. Now we're back to lowlands again. Lunar seas. Maybe I should have just gone polar. It wouldn't have cost that much more. Lowlands and lunar seas. This is all lunar seas, isn't it? Yes, it is. Right. Well, we'll see if any of this is actually not lowlands. Okay. So we want 83259, 1346 east. All right. That is where we want to land. Okay. So let's create a deorbit burn. Oops. Go move over. Oops. What is the elevation there? The elevation is 10 kilometers up, so we want about a 15, yeah. Yep, 15 kilometer periseline. And we want it to be, I think, slightly before the landing site. Because we're still, oh, no, we're still in the Midlands. So let's do it right there so that, all right, let's hope this works. Oh, yeah, RO was updated a long time ago. Gojira asks. Yeah, I'm actually, so this is the Race into Space stream using the currently released versions of RO and RP-0. I've also been testing the dev stuff that we're currently working on. It's amazing. Everybody has done such a good job. All right, let's go ahead and prepare for that maneuver. Okay, let's execute that. And ignition. Bang on. Now, I want to see what the altitude is right here. All right. So, happily, we'll be under control for this burn. So, it's in, let's see, 54 minutes, 51 minutes. Let's warp here. We're down to 10x warp. There's the moon below us. Sun and Fury, where is it using a lowercase p for pascals? Right here, it's got an uppercase P. Oh, over here. Yeah, so it's correct in one place but not in the other. That's weird. All right. Periselene is in 6.5 minutes. I'm going to take us out of warp here so we can align retrograde. SL minus. Okay, when we're about 2 minutes from periapsis. No, I think when we're right about at periapsis, I'll fire up. Getting low, getting low. Okay. We are now at periapsis. We're still over the lowlands. Have to wait until we're in the Midlands. Oh yes, because periapsis is now a little bit before that. Seven kilometers true. All right. Now we're over the Midlands. Altitude is about 5 kilometers. There are some mountains up ahead, but I don't think they stretch up too high. I'm going to switch to free because this view makes more sense. Now, SAS to off. Let's roll. And engage the engine. SFL minus. Okay. Now up pitch to keep things broadly as they are. I think we want to go over that rise if we can. So let's pitch up a little bit more because that's slightly worrying. We want to hold vertical speed about like this. It's fine. Oh, we're actually going to... Heh. We might actually land on that rise. So we're going to, I think, try to land right in that valley. Man, this is going to be a cheap landing, assuming I can pull it off. Hopefully the ascent will be as cheap. But we're going to have to ride this close to the bottom. Whoa. Crap. We're spending delta V we don't have to try to cancel this out. Come on, slow down. I am uncomfortable with this predicament. Okay. That's better. We still have a lot of delta V in this stage. 1 kilometer. How many ignitions do we have left? 9 ignitions. Let's kill some velocity. Heading 90, pitch 88. Oh, no, we want heading 0, pitch 88. Oh, and roll needs to turn off. All right, let's jettison this thing. Let it crash. All right, that's about right. Oh, son of a gun. That's bad. Well, we landed. Let us hope that we can take off. We landed on a slope and got what we deserved. All right, we're going to keep that science to do a sample return. All right, let's see what we can do. It will let me roll. Good. That's good. See if it will let me turn at all. All right, in the list of things that shouldn't work, this shouldn't work, but I think it might just. Yep. Come on, slow your roll. All right, cross your fingers that this works the way I want it to. Because if it doesn't, we're kind of cooked. Because we do have 3.7 Gs, local Gs of thrust. So if we can get airborne at all, then we're, whoop, yep, now we're bouncing a little bit. Don't break, don't break. Come on, let's roll sideways. You can do it, little thing. Yeah, this totally, almost enough to get airborne. Yes. Okay. Oops, we're going the wrong direction, but that's okay. We can accept some steering losses. We have some delta V. It's okay. Let's bring that back in line. Bring that back in line. Yeah, that would have been impossible to do in real life because of the signal delay, because of a bunch of things. Pretty insane steering losses, but that's okay. We're going for the lowest possible orbit we can get to conserve delta V. Yeah, Ferrum, you're absolutely right. Literally everything should have crumpled, but this is KSP, so it did not. Oh, time to apogee was still increasing. That's stupid of me. Yeah, actually, I mean, these are highly pressurized tanks, so they're actually pretty strong. It's the avionics that probably would have, and also the antenna and solar panel would totally have broken. All right, what's our inclination like? Not bad, less than 8 degrees. So only a few degrees out of the ecliptic, but we'll probably be off plane though. We did complete our lunar landing contract, so even if nothing else, we'll get that money. All right. Our apogee is rising too fast, so we'll coast a little bit. Huh. Wow, I seriously, so this is going to be a great advantage to whoever does this after me, because I seriously packed way too much delta V for this mission, because I was playing this like Apollo with their delta V budget, and really did not need that delta V budget. Probably had like 600 too much on the lander, and another 600 too much on the ascent stage. No, another maybe 350 to 400 too much on the ascent stage. Could have probably shaved a half a ton off. Maybe even more. Wait a little bit longer. Now. Nope, waited too long. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, so yes, like I said, about 350 to 400 too much, because we're going to need a little extra for TEI. Okay. Let's get rid of landing guide. Nope, that's not That's, oh. All right. Now, so our inclination isn't that far off. Let's return from a moon. And it's going to be, we decided, I think I want 55. The cost of that is $797, which is less than that. So yes, I over budgeted on every stage, mostly because I'm not used to flying this mission, so I don't have the budget memorized. All right, let's add another few meters per second. Close enough. So that's in 1 hour and 26 minutes. Let's do this. Yeah, it was 55 the other day, which is why I put 55 in there. But this thing has a much, ridiculously much lower ballistic coefficient than a pod. Oh, the solar panel's going to burn off. That's interesting. That's okay. Don't care. As long as the experiments don't. And the way we'll verify, the way we'll make sure that the experiments don't. Hey, where did ShipManifest go? Come on. Why is ShipManifest not ShipManifesting? That's a weird issue. The way we'll do... Why can I not move... Why is ShipManifest not showing up? It's not... It's literally not showing up. All right, let's go ahead and quick save and quick load and hope the ShipManifest shows up. Yeah, if it still doesn't after this, I'm going to check the log for exceptions. Because we need to transmit, we need to move the Geiger counter thing into... Now it's showing up. Okay. We need to move... Hey, why is it not showing the window? Why is it not showing the... Oh, it's down here. Okay, it's just me being blind. Good to know. So the reason I'm doing that is because it's vaguely possible that instrument might burn up on reentry, but the probe core hopefully won't. So that's why we did that thing. So we've moved it into the controllable core. So if nothing but... Wait, really? Did literally neither I nor anyone else notice this in literally any of the episodes involved in this? Can anyone tell me what's wrong with this craft? I'll wait. Lamont nails it. It has no parachute. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. No, it has a heat shield. All the staging for the decouplers is correct. It just doesn't have any parachute. Oh man. That's hilarious. That's truly hilarious. So, what can we do here? Well, fat lot of nothing. Because we can't dock it with anything. We can't send a rescue mission because we don't really have any kind of cargo. I mean, no, it's going to impact about 50 meters per second. Pretty sure that's going to be its terminal velocity. Yeah, so that would require No. Also not going to work. No, the only hope we have is launching a follow-up mission fast enough. Yeah, but I don't have the tech for... I don't even have KS installed, let alone the tech for it. Wait. Scientists can remove experiments. What are the actual requirements of this contract? I still can't believe that I missed this so entirely. So, no, we're going to have to launch a follow-up mission because of this. Return home safely with the science, which I think has a return home. It's not just science-type recovery. Let me check the actual wording in the contract. Because if I could send a scientist up to rendezvous, because we know how to rendezvous. We've done that before. If I can send a scientist up, have them pull the data out, and then return, then we'll be okay. Where's sample return? Is it not in that folder? Maybe it's in milestones. No. How am I not finding this? Dione, Enceladus, Europa, Ganymede, Ipedius, Io, Mars, Mercury, Mimas, Phobos, Pluto, Rhea, Tethys, Titan, Triton, and Venus. Where is that contract? Oh, moon exploration. That must be where it is. Lunar sample return. Let's look at the fine print. Parameter. Vessel group. Land on moon. Return. Nope, we're cooked. All right. So, yeah, we're cooked. We got to launch another version of this mission. So we had about 600 spare on the landing stage. We're going to have 500 spare on this. So, yeah, okay. There goes another, like, $60 million down the drain. And yes, I'm going to add a parachute. Don't really see what else we can do with this thing. Maybe we can use it as a lunar ComSat for now. I guess that's what we'll have to do. Don't have access to landing legs yet. Could add some struts. But struts are no better than these engines, to be honest. That's so sad. At least we got the science from landing. And to be fair, because by rights we should have... by rights, that landing on our side should have killed us. So it's just fate taking its hand. Yeah, so that's going to do it for us as a ComSat. This is just going to sadly be a ComSat. And we're going to have it rotate a bit to have the solar panel orient correctly. And so much for that. Yeah, that's going to be a long drive. Gojira just overshot by 500 kilometers and has to drive it in the rover. And now it would be pretty funny if we actually did suffer reliability issues if we rush built. So let's edit this. Geez, what is even the date? We have to do it by the... We have to launch by, I think, the 27th of February. And what day is it now? Do I even want to know? Is this even going to be viable? What's the penalty on failing lunar sample return? It's probably like 100 million, and I think we'd spend more. Oh, but I want the first. I do want the first. So we probably should just rush build this to exhaustion. Now, 6637. This is enough for trans-Earth injection, we know. This had about 400 to spare. So let's put the parachute on. This is what I get for just copying my geostationary thing or whatever, or lunar orbiter. This is what I get for copying my lunar orbiter instead of building a probe from scratch, because I'm pretty sure I would have thought of this if I were building it from scratch. All right. Main. We'll go with wet mass. Drogue, wet mass. Wanted 50 at 2500. We want pre-deployment altitude 2500, deployment altitude 1000. Oh, and we need to auto cut the drogue, don't we? Auto cut at 1800. All right. They're both set on wet, so. Okay. Now, this moves up. Whoop. Oh, well, we can just put it on top of that. That's fine. Okay. Oh yeah, we should probably also check our stability, shouldn't we? Just, you know, for the sake of argument. Not terribly stable. Let's check hypersonic. Yeah, so we're going to let MechJeb orient us, I think. But there's really nothing we can do. All right. So we should just barely have enough delta V for trans-Earth injection. from that, except we won't because we're now 210 kilograms. Okay, now I have to like land somewhere else too. To find somewhere else to land. Well, hopefully the light, where the light is on the moon, will have changed enough that we can land somewhere interesting. All right, so we're going to have to use a little bit of the ascent stage for trans-earth injection. That's okay. We'll survive. So we lost 200 meters per second, most all of which was from that upper stage. We didn't gain much back from the lower stages. So we can now reduce this by like 200. And we can reduce this. By quite a bit. But don't want to, yes, we've dropped almost a ton. I offset it before, but changing the tank size offset it again. There. I think that's good. Yeah, the problem is we're just kind of top heavy. Well, actually, we're not even that top heavy. Because, like, look at this. Look at where the center of mass is. We're not even that top heavy. Look at that. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know what we do for stability. I think I'm a little scared of cutting it that fine. So we'll go ahead and go back up a little bit. We'll go for an even 2 minutes there. Okay. Okay. How fine do I want to cut this? Yeah, I mean, there's also the whole don't land on a hill thing. Ferrum is right. Yeah, I didn't particularly want to land on a hill. I wanted to land in the lowlands, but by slightly beyond it. It's just that that worked about as well as you'd expect. Oh yeah, you're right. You guys are right. I could do a fast transit. I could indeed do a fast transit and shave 2 days off. Yeah, we're still over budgeting here, I think. Well, let's see what we get when we put this back on. All right, that should be plenty. Bill, you don't think that's enough delta V? I mean, I'm pretty sure that's enough delta V. Shave 200 off there, that's 2483. Trans-earth injection might at most be another 100 meters. Oh. Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to spend ruinously to make this thing happen fast enough. Like, I acknowledge that. Yeah, we didn't lose much from changing it because most of the cost wasn't up there. It's all the rest of it. Right. Save the edits. All right, let's try to figure out how much this is actually going to cost to rush build. And let's check our deadline one more time. The 8th of March. Failure, $618 million and a crap ton of rep. So it would take us to 0 funds, which would be quite bad. So rush building will certainly be cheaper than failing. That's for sure. All right, so we're spending about about $100 million to rush this. So this is so now we're actually ahead of schedule. I probably rushed it a little too much, but now I'm kind of paranoid. I mean, watch us have a failure, right? Like, that's kind of how it's going to be. Oh, you know what I should have done? Instead of using the Agena, I could have used an RL10. That would have shaved a bit of the mount. Oh, no, I talked about this when I was building this. All right. All it takes is money. All right, I will be insanely upset if I have a launch failure in this. Given the lengths to which I went to. Yes, Blowfish, that would be excellent. A delay option for contracts. So you could spend some money and push the deadline back. Spend some rep too, rather than just you fail it by that day. Target the moon. That would be a great use for the admin building, yeah. Actually, if there were just a strategy that increased contract deadlines, that would be pretty cool. Right, launch into plane of target. It's going to be dusk. Well, it might actually be... Yep, just past sundown. Oh, I should have queued up something else to use the other build rate. Well, we'll find out soon enough. All right, let's at least see this thing. There we go. Sorry, I've just been messing with my inclination to try to get it correct. Okay, now I get ready to pitch. Wow, we've never done a temperature scan flying low over Earth's water? Okay. RCS to on for roll control. LR87 ignition. Pitch up. Okay, fairing SEP. We're not accelerating fast. Look at how slowly they go by us. All right, our pitch is fairly decent. So this is actually a high thrust hydrolox stage. It's got a greater than 1 thrust to weight ratio. That makes it high thrust. Exactly. Yeah, Blowfish and I had the same thought at the same time. This is actually, I mean, to fully take advantage of this stage, it probably should be like a 7-minute stage, and the first stage should only be like 2 minute 20 seconds. Then there's always like Centaur 5 and DCSS. All right, inclination looks fine. The moon will be another few days long, which means we'll have a longer coast, but we did bring enough liquid hydrogen that we should be okay. We're going for a lower parking orbit just in case there's a failure. So we've conserved as much delta V as possible on the off chance we could complete the mission anyway. Oh, let's kill that. Well, I remember to. Let's pitch up a little bit more. Give our Calico stage a bit more time. Okay. And Calico ignition. Pitch up. Well, you get to see the same mission twice, assuming I don't stuff it up. I was really hoping to do that circumlunar flyby, but I have to do that next episode because I stuffed this up. $800 to go. Yes, this is quite a low parking orbit. At least we've developed a good launch profile for this LV. This is when Conrad would be very, very useful, because I want to know what pitch to fly to hit 0 meters per second vertical velocity and insertion. I think it's going to be about this. Maybe a little lower. Yeah, we could have been a little bit lower. All right, that is quite close to a circular orbit. Right. Up. We're going to do a low energy. We're going to do a low energy transfer because it's happening now. So much for the higher energy transfer. But I don't want to go once around if I can help it. So let's just do this. Come on, light them up. Come on, there we go. Man, we could have done direct injection. I don't even know what... Yeah, we're going to have to correct that. We burned a little too... MechJeb always puts us into the moon, because we're transferring to the center of the moon. Okay, good. And I heard back from Nightingale about how the coverage works, so we get to debug that some. TLI is from a 185 by 185 parking orbit, it's 3150. If you want to make a free return, it's up to 3300. S4, the Apollo mission's budgeted about 32 to 3300. Yeah, as Blowfish says, you want a fast transit for a crewed mission, because the life support mass and the electric charge required and all that stuff is probably going to be worse than packing a little extra propellant. Especially because you want to leave enough margin in your upper that you could just fly that anyway. Yeah, it's still like a third to a hair over a third what it takes to get to orbit, so it's not like it's that much. So Ferrum, technically, like, the free returns are escapes, so yeah, TLI costs as much as going to orbit from the ground in KSP. I wonder, we could try to keep the Calico around for a plane change. Let's stop 3 meters per second early instead of 1 and see if that makes a difference. Oh, we've changed it now, so it may not take effect? I don't know. It did not take effect at all. All right. What's going on here? Oh, they are, okay. We're flipping over. How much hydrazine do we have left? Not as much as I'd like. All right. Great, we didn't even overburn that much. All right. So let's go ahead and ditch the upper stage. It is now on a collision course with the moon. Now we have this little puppy. So let's extend the antenna before I forget again. Come on, give me the antenna. There we are. Activate. Okay. Save. And yeah, Bill, Conrad is exactly your kind of thing. Kind of to the letter. All right. Let's do that. Get jumped up to 60 kilometers. Well, 60 kilometers is fine. Much lower than that, and you perturb a bunch in an orbit. Yes, I appreciate your double checking that I have a parachute. I cannot believe that I missed that during the entire build process and the entire flight process, and also that literally everybody watching this, and also on YouTube, as far as I'm aware, missed it. Them's the breaks. Right, so now the moment of truth. Well, we can't. We could pay another 200,000 and rush build another one in the next like 4 days, but I don't think. We would have to commit now, because we can't fly the mission first. So the mission is going to take 8 days to get there. No, sorry, 5 days to get there, and then a little while coming home. So let's warp to the moon. Why are things changing? Also, why is our... Oh, crap! Because MechJeb's reorienting us, costing us delta V. That's why. Let's go back to that. All right. See if we'll get any science at any point during this journey. Yep. All right, so even if this mission is a complete failure, we got 5 science out of it. So there's that. All right, so let's circularize periselene. No, at periselene, there we go. 790. More expensive than last time, but whatever. I think it's a little more expensive than last time. But where the light hits is bad, because we want to be in comms when we land, and this is the absolute wrong time of the month for being able to see what we're doing. Well, it is what it is. Where is our... There it is. Okay. Yeah, we're going to literally have to land in the dark. Unless we'll have overhead ComSat coverage, which seems doubtful. Although we might get lucky and Selene 9 might give us comms. That'd be pretty funny. Okay. All right, had to AFK for a sec while the burn was completing. So we're in a pretty circular orbit. All right. Well, Where's this? This is... So we can land right here and I think have comms coverage from that. All right. Let's get MJ's landing thingy open so I can see what's under my cursor. Pick target on map. We're figuring to land right about there. This is lunar seas, lowlands, midlands. Is there anything interesting anywhere around here that we haven't already done? No. So let's just do it there. And its altitude is 7 kilometers. Let's say we want 18 kilometers so that we have plenty of clearance. Over here. $30. I said 18, right? Because that, if we don't have comms, we can go around and then try to land slightly more on the darky side. All right. There'll be highland, Blowfish asked, are there any other biomes over here? There'll be highlands somewhere around here, but I can't afford to risk landing in the dark. So we're going to try to land in one of these craters, I guess. What would be nice is we could land in a flat lunar sea. That would be nice, but it's all dark. So instead, we're going to, I think, try to land right there. Man, we could almost do this adjustment on RCS, but I don't want to spend the RCS. It would take like 14 because of what's below us. Execute next node. Okay. I have Planetshine installed. Don't I? I think I did. Pretty sure I installed it. I just don't get much from... I just don't get very much from Earth. I don't think it has a configuration button. I'm pretty sure I have it installed. Planetshine, it's installed. All right, what's our... So our periapsis is a little high. All right. So we want to go prograde, because we'll be retrograde then. That's close enough. Oh, we're out of comms anyway. Right. Yeah, now annoyingly, all the orbits are, all the high orbits are this way, which is the wrong way. We want them out to here. Oh, that's what I should have done. I should have done it the exact opposite direction of the Selene 9 probe, and extended it out that way. But, oh well, we'll be all right. That's interesting. Why did we come out of warp? Don't know. Still don't have comms, which is odd because we should have comms now, but for some reason we don't. Why do we not? What are we talking to? What is that line talking to? That's weird. That's super weird. All right, well, it turns out 18 kilometers is going to, above the moon's minimum point, is not going to be very high above the moon's actual highest points. Ah, because we were in the highlands. I would have liked to have landed in the highlands, but we didn't have comms. 10 minutes to periapsis. Oh, everything's wrong for this. That is over there now, when we needed it over here. So I think what we might do is go around again. I think that's what we might do. Yeah, I have no idea what that line is doing. Now we have, oh, we have comms now direct to Earth, so we can just land this way. All right, the orbit does pass over that. Let's add a maneuver that changes this to there. And does a big retrograde burn. T-minus 1 minute. All right, I think we want to perform that burn. I think that's what we want to do. So that we can try to land in that crater. And I think we want to perform it about here. Yeah, we want to be almost over our target site when we do this. I mean, this looks like, no, it's actually fairly rolling. Hopefully we can aim well for a crater basin. All right, we're going to align with the node. Right. Where is, oh, there's, yeah. Yeah, that is pretty, isn't it? Let's take a screenshot. All right. So the thing we just went over is, it's got some flat areas. I guess. Right, we want to be perfectly centered in that crater. Not that we actually will be, because the burn time is not instantaneous. So let's fire things up. We're still 8 kilometers up. Ah, that's actually fairly flat over there. I think I waited a little too long, because we're right over the crater right now. We're still moving at a kilometer per second. We're going to overshoot. What is our heading anyway? 268, pitch 5. Yeah, we overshot. So, once again, we will end up I think if we actually land in there, it'll be decently flat. I hope. Oh, there's another crater up there. Let's land in it. We still have plenty of delta V, so we can accept some gravity losses. All right, let's see what that looks like. A little too far. Let's get rid of the maneuver. I think we want to be heading more there. Oops. Spinny, spinny, spinny. Okay. This is, I think, fairly decent. Okay. I think actually I do want to drive us over more towards the center of the crater. Okay. Let's examine. Yeah, now things are looking better. Hopefully the center of the crater isn't too bad. This is not as nice as the lunar seas, but it is at least a caldera of some sort. All right, so let's try to guess how flat things are under us. Hopefully not too bad. Let's coast a little longer. Align with SVL minus. It is pretty rolling here, isn't it? Okay, and we still have ignitions left, so that's good. So let's hope that I guessed that the terrain under us is decently flat. It looks suspiciously rolling. I think RemoteTech doesn't actually raycast, it does analytic calculations, but I'm not sure. 4 kilometers. We still have 100, so once we get to 114, we'll burn. Well, more like 120. Whoops, what is it doing? Oh, it was still set from the crap. Why are we going down? MechJeb, why you do this? What is... Why are we... Why? That was... Oh, that's what was going on. This was still set to the prior thing. All right. I'm not sure what to count that. But you know what? I have had a long day. I will probably not get this first anyway. I'm just going to reload that and fix that because I thought that was saying 90 and it was saying 0, and that is why we flipped the way we'd flipped. So the heck with this. Where's my quick save? Hopefully no one cares. I'm perfectly happy to give up this first if somebody else wants to have it. But geez, that was annoying. Yeah, I could have sworn that said 90. I was going 268 and 90, but I was not. I was going 268 and 0. The heck with this. Whatever. So we were landing, because I'm going to replicate what I did last time, which is burn this node too late so we land in the other crater. Wait, what are we doing? That was weird. Well, we wasted a lot of delta V from doing that, too. Whatever. I just want this long national nightmare to be over. All right, that's about right. Wasted more delta V than last time, but that's my punishment for screwing things up. All right, so we'll do exactly what we did last time, except this time, oh, that, because I reloaded, that's actually correct. And this is about when Sound and Fury says, see, if you were using Conrad, none of this would have happened. Oh, we're still 9 kilometers up, huh? All right. What is it doing? Why does it always, like, pitch off insanely like that? All right, that's about right. I should have called this Kebab 1. Well, technically Kebab 2, given last time. Oops. All right. Huh. We're not quite balanced, it looks like. Traveling it. Many centimeters a second. All right, that looks much more proper. Okay. Analyze telemetry. Keep the data. That's quite flat. All right. Now, we have the stuff. Let's return home safely with the science. Our inclination is rather higher than last time, but that's okay. What's our... Yeah, our inclination is higher than last time. That's tragic. But we'll still be able to depart okay. In fact, it's sort of tempting to launch polar because we could just depart polar. Because we're actually more or less in line with the moon's trajectory. Anyway, I don't know, launch polar or not. I guess we can just launch east. Okay, let's go. Hey, Pat. All right. I was going to call it the little probe that could, but then I realized it's kind of the little probe that couldn't. Pap, yeah, I forgot to bring a parachute the first time. On the second time, I thought MechJeb was saying pitch high, and it was saying pitch 0, and it was a mess. Thought I was engaged going upwards, but it had kept the settings from the prior ascent. Or the prior something. About 400 meters per second shy. All right. That will do. Save again. Let's go home. Our orbit is fairly well aligned, which is nice. Return from a moon. See what that gives us. Still wrong. $119. 54. Perfect. 789. All right, let's... Oh, and we actually almost could have launched to... We almost could have launched directly to return. That's pretty cool. Had this all been one stage. I mean, that would have made more sense. But I had to do the staging this way to get the mass okay. Right, we're going to execute this note. Okay, off we go. IRK, thank you. PAP, Luna 11, and I would presume it was direct descent back. I don't think the Russians would have wanted to mess with something like what I've just done because of the avionics issues. Okay. Yeah, the staging event kicks us angularly for some reason. I don't know why it's imparting a torque, but it does. It's really weird. Okay, so why was the RCS drawing from there anyway? That's weird. That's super weird. Why does it behave the way it behaves? Also, why can't we transfer resources? Oh, the heat shield. The heat shield doesn't cross-feed. Right. That's why. All right. So we need to flip end for end so that we get the solar panel facing the sun. I think like that. Right, because we're on the dark side now. That looks just on perfect. Excellent. Now are we getting any light? Blocked by moon. Yes, I'm aware that it's blocked by moon. All right. Good. Now we're getting electric charge. Why do they point that way? That's a weird bug. Anyway, let's get out of here. I want to eat supper. Whoop, gravity scan. Transmit. Excellent. That's still a correct perigee. So let's then warp down to here. And we'll reorient for entry. Which way are we going anyway? Oh, we're going this way. This is in... I think we're going this way. Yeah, 4 days, 10 hours. Okay. All right, now what we could do is dump the remaining 344 meters per second, but I think I would rather just not try anything fishy and re-enter. I'm going to save here in case there's a bug with re-entry. Heh. Okay. I guess we were high enough that that actually had a significant effect. All right. Our parachute is armed. We're going to get near and go to SL minus. Oh, it's going to be a night reentry too. Of course it is, because of the geometry of the situation. Okay, switch to surface mode. Let's reorient. Blowfish, it is velocity cubed for heat transfer, so even 300 meters per second will make a bit of a difference. Also, it's broadly velocity to the fourth because of the radiation. radiative heating. I need to get that Reentry plume mod. All right, we retracted the antenna. Let's go for interface. Well, let's get a bit above first. All right. Huh, I wonder if we're going to land in like the steppes or something. Ferrum, where's what extra? Ferrum, because, like I was saying, because the air temperature is going to be, so it's another 300 meters per second, which is, we could call it something like 300 to 500 extra degrees Kelvin. And then radiation is proportional to the temperature to the fourth. So that's where the extra is coming from. It's not velocity, but the shock temperature is going to be fairly, it's either linear or more than linear proportional to velocity. So 300 meters per second shaved off the velocity is going to shave at least 300 meters per second, 300 Kelvin off the shock temp when you're at a translunar return. Here we go. What was that about? Oh, that was the solar panel, I'm sure. Was it? Yeah. Heh. Overheating, 12,941 out of 1073. Wait, why is the parachute not shielded? Okay, that is a thermal bug. The parachute is literally behind the heat shield. How did it explode? That confuses me greatly. All right, let's load this again. I did quick save, and I'll see what the heck is going on with that. Maybe the drag cube wasn't properly re-rendered for it. I don't know. Something funny was going on. Oh, Bill might be right. It might be a bug where the solar panel is conducting heat. Because the solar panel should melt before it conducts much heat to that parachute. So, yeah, you know what we're going to... Oops. All right. SL minus. So here's what we're going to do. If Bill's right, this should fix it. Let's just disable conduction. Fair. No, that is not adding another V to the relationship, per se. But you can broadly say that Right. Shock temp is broadly equivalent to V squared, but the radiative energy from the shock temp is equivalent to the shock temp to the fourth. So now you're effectively talking about no, but the radiative heating from the shock, not the convective heating from the shock. Okay, that's a bug. Conduction was off. The parachute exploded. That's interesting. That's an interesting bug. All right, as I've told Blue Diamond, in instances of thermal bugs, I'm just going to ignore max heat because something is super freaky about that. Yeah, because he had to do it because he has drag issues, it looks like. So things aren't producing as much drag as they should. So uses too much ablator and it blows up. So yeah, until we've encountered some bugs. All right, let's go ahead and ditch this. And retract the antenna. And ignore max. Conduction was still disabled and it's still bugged out. So there's something weird there. So yeah, we're just going to ignore max heat for now. And find out. So I'm going to have my thingy. Oh, let's turn on thermal debug and figure out what is going on here. Physics, thermo, display, thermal data, and action menus. All right. Let's figure out what's going on with this thing. All right. Why is it getting any convective flux at all when it is literally behind the heat shield? That's an interesting shielding bug. My guess is the drag cube for this is not being rendered properly. Because look, the heat shield's bigger than this visually. But my guess is the drag cube isn't rendered properly, so the extents of it... Oh, you know what? I can check this, actually. Let's turn on Aero as well. They are 1 point... Yeah. 0.4. Oh. No, it's the heat shield that's not being rendered properly. The heat shield either thinks it's shielded by something, or its drag cube areas are totally wrong. Sorry, 0.52. Yeah. No, okay. No, that sounds right. It's a 0.625 heat shield. So 0.625. Okay, so no, actually it's the heat shield areas are correct. I was wrong. The first number is the drag coefficient. I was looking at the wrong number. That's correct. But the parachute, look at the parachute. It has an area yeah, it thinks it's, for some reason it thinks it's wider than the heat shield. Look at the YP and YN areas. For some reason it thinks it's wider than the heat shield. Guess I should have used an even smaller parachute. Maybe that would have helped. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's a bug with the model. Parachute stack. Yeah, that's so weird. It thinks it's exposed, so it's getting convective flux. Super weird. And that's even counting the area that should have been blocked by being stack attached to the probe core. This parachute has indeed been reduced in size from default. But I thought I deorbited a probe. Oh, but it had a. The last time I did this, it had a cone-shaped chute, not a stack chute, and it seemed to resize acceptably in terms of drag cube. So I don't know why this drag cube is getting screwed over. It may. You know what? It also might be. It might be because I reloaded. Actually, that's also plausible. Ferrum has an idea. Yes. All right, I think we can change that again. All right, we've lost comms because there's no ground stations nearby. Oh, it might. Yeah, you're right. It might not. It might not. I'm fairly sure RC does properly resize drag cubes, or at least it used to, but it may not be properly telling FAR about it. Except that shouldn't change drag cubes themselves. That'll just change whether your radiative area is correct, and we don't actually care about the radiative area. We just care about the drag cube area in any given face. Why is the parachute not armed? Oh, no, it is armed, so why isn't that the right color? I don't know. Anyway. I mean, admittedly, I wrote it, and it's sort of a mystery to me, too. It is armed, so what's going on here? There we go. All right. Darn right, Bill. Darn right. All right, let's head on down. Smack dab in the middle of the Pacific. Very close to the international date line. trying to kill rotation with RCS does not do a whole lot of good. All right. Recover vessel. Why didn't return home trigger? Don't tell me other stuff was bugged too. Okay, we got 33.8 science because we recovered a vessel from landed on the surface of the moon. We got some money back. Okay, the contract did complete. Good. All right, that's it. I gotta go eat. Thanks everybody. Sorry this was such a crap show. No idea why that was also bugged. See you next time. Bye-bye. Oh, I should sync, shouldn't I? Because I think that's a first. All right, let's get out of here. See you.